Normally, when we're a month out from a brand new set, I'll feature some early Japanese deck lists showing off a few archetypes that are seeing success. But for Prismatic Evolutions, things are a little different. For starters, even though every evolution is getting an EX, none of them have done anything in Japan yet. Like, it's kind of impressive how disappointing they've been so far. For seconds, Prismatic Evolutions is a special set, meaning the number of new cards is limited compared to a main set. So while there are 131 cards before secret rares, a lot of them are reprints. And some of the new cards are just random crap from starter decks in Japan designed to introduce people to the game. But I'm a top tier YouTuber, which means I had to find a way to squeeze a video out of these cards like it's the last drop of lotion in a bottle. That's where Budew comes in. While I was super excited for the possibilities Regigigas brings to the table, being able to one-shot every Terra Pokemon is still nuts, I underestimated the little buddy. For 0 energy, Budew does 10 damage and item locks. I knew this was good, I just didn't understand how absolutely game-changing it would be. Taking a look at Japanese tournament results, Budew appears in so many decks it's harder to keep track of than For the Win at a furry convention. Here's a quick rundown of every top deck that can smoke people with the bud. Chenpao EX, Cerule Edge EX, Charizard EX, Dragapult EX, Gardevoir EX, Greninja EX, Hydreigon EX, Palkia V-Star, and Regidrago V-Star. Basically, if you're playing an evolution deck, you're running at least one copy of Budew, and some raise it to 2. Budew's existence also gives Stage 2 decks another reason to go second, in addition to being able to use a supporter to help set up with. Now, while Budew's not guaranteed to buy you an extra turn, it has a good chance at doing so, shutting off things like Ultra Ball and Pokegear and Prime Catcher. And it's not like it ruins the prize trade, only giving up a single prize. So you can still force your opponent to take 4 KOs to win the game, though things like Dusknoir and Briar do complicate matters. One interesting development with Budew is the increased play it's seen with Raging Bolt EX, further showing how game-changing it is. Prismatic Evolutions has been out in Japan for just over a week, and while some decks have lowered the count of Budew, Raging Bolt has just started playing it. While the turn 2 going first Burst Roar isn't the worst thing in the world, it does leave a naked Raging Bolt stranded in the active. Budew has free retreat and attacks for free while potentially slowing down your opponent. That cannot be overlooked. If you really want to get high with the bud, play it on its own with Frostlass. Venomoth Frostlass is a fun rogue deck right now because it shuts off their items and confuses their active. While Budew doesn't confuse, it attacks for free. Why is that important? Because then you can attach energy to Monkey Dory, allowing you to further spread damage counters like their cheats. I know it's a little early, but I've already started whacking off with Budew. If you want to solely attack with this thing, there's a couple of options. For starters, you could swap out the Gravity Gemstone in the Frostlass build for Defiance Band and Maximum Belt, thus upping the raw damage Budew deals. But that doesn't make my Pokeballs jiggle. No, you want to pair it with Skeledirge EX for maximum insanity. By discarding the fire energy from your hand, Skeledirge EX boosts the damage all of your Pokemon deal by 60. Get 4 Skeledirge EX into play, discard 4 energy, attach a Maximum Belt, and now Budew can deal 300 damage, one-shotting Regidrago V-Star and turning off their items. Will it actually work? Never. Is it more fun than Frostlass? Absolutely. While reining things in for a second, if your first thought about Budew is ew, well, you must be a Stage 2 enjoyer. With rotation happening at the end of March and taking Rotom V and 4 Sealstone, Stage 2 decks were always going to need to adjust. The likely scenario was that TM Evolution would see more play. With the release of Budew in a month, though, the time is now, old man. If you allow yourself to get screwed over by item locking post-Prismatic Evolutions, you only have yourself to blame, just like when my dog falls for the hidden ball trick every time. Things are so dire that one player in Japan went, frankly, a little overboard. They put 2 TM Evolution in their Charizard deck plus Grand Tree, ensuring that they never have to worry about Budew. Is it a good strategy? Not necessarily, but it does mean you won't automatically lose to item lock. Ultimately, Stage 2 decks will have to adjust because of a freaking 30 hit point baby Pokemon, and that's insane to say out loud. Oh, and one more thing we might start seeing with Charizard EX is the inclusion of the 60 hit point Charmander. The 70 hit point one is optimal because it survives Dragapult EX pings, but the Heat Tackle Charmander one-shots Budew for a single energy. Though the drawback there is that it puts 10 damage on itself, opening it up for a Dusclops KO. Yeah, I wasn't exaggerating in the title of this video when I said Budew is going to completely change Pokemon TCG Live until it rotates in March 2027. Like a Lost Box player who's already taken a 5-minute turn, I'm not done yet. While Budew is getting all the attention and all the hate from Prismatic Evolutions, Regigigas is still a major threat. As a reminder, Reggie does 330 damage to a Terra Pokemon for 4 energy while being a single prizer with 160 hit points. It can use Glass Trumpet if you have a Terra Pokemon in play, but players in Japan have found a myriad life shower of other ways to power it up. A few crazy people have been using Charizard EX's ability plus their attachment for turn as a way to power up Reggie, but the much more common pairings are with Chien-Pao, Lost Box, and Lugia V-Star. Basically any deck with energy acceleration will run the Reggie. For Chien-Pao, it's simple. Just use Baxcalibur to load it up with 4 energy, then one-shot a Charizard or Dragapult, whereas Chien-Pao EX would have needed 6 energy to do so and given up 2 prizes instead of 1 on their turn if they took a knockout. For Lugia V-Star, Reggie doesn't replace Cinccino since Reggie only deals boosted damage to Terras. But in those matchups, Reggie does 330 damage for 4 energy, while Cinccino would need 5. Plus, Cinccino's an evolution, so you aren't surprising anybody. And finally, Lost Box players can use Mirage Date to power up Reggie, then recycle it with Night Stretcher. Though needing 4 energy does make it fairly resource intensive. The bottom line with Regigigas is that this thing's a beast, able to use a wide variety of different energy accelerators to power itself up. And if you knock out a Reggie, it might have a heavy baton attached, meaning that 3 of those energy are staying in play. To quickly sum up this video, when Prismatic Evolutions releases on January 16th in Pokemon TCG Live, not only do you have to worry about Budew biting your ankles at the start of a game, but if you manage to get a big Terra Pokemon into play later on, then Regigigas can come in and break your jewels.